Hello students, how are you? I hope you're doing well and you are following our teaching schedule. So we'll continue with our lecture series on infectious disease for the fourth semester. Today's topic is pertussis. I'm Dr. Devdutt Suryavanshi. We'll start with the topic pertussis. So first we start with the definition of pertussis. It's an acute infectious disease usually which occurs in infants caused by the bacteria Bordetella pertussis, which is clinically characterized by mild fever, irritating cough, gradually becoming paroxysmal, and characterized by a whoop or whoop. The whoop is the characteristic of this disease. Uh, it is often followed by cyanosis, vomiting, but can be effectively prevented by vaccination. See, when you're writing the answer, you should always remember you can frame a definition yourself. You don't need to, if you know the etiological agent, the mode of transmission, some treatment, and infection and the preventive strategy, you can yourself frame a definition. No need to just copy paste from any book the definition. No need to mark up. Coming to the problem statement, which will be second thing you should always write in your examination. Try to remember. You can see whether the graph is increasing or decreasing. What is the figures here? 2018 global figures are showing that presently there were 1,51,000 cases which were reported, out of which 89,000 estimated deaths in 2008. So these figures do not correspond. That's the latest figure we have. It is 86% estimate of DTP3 coverage of diphtheria. The pertussis, you can see from 1980s with 202 million cases, it has come down to 1 lakh cases in 2008 with an proportionate increase in the coverage of the vaccination. So, what it is telling, as vaccination has increased, as vaccination coverage has increased, the cases have gone down. So what is the problem statement in India? In 1987, India had some 1,63,000 cases, which have decreased to 36,000 cases, a 77% decrease in cases by 2010. The agent factors, we can know the most common agent, the large proportion of 95% of the cases are caused because of Bordetella pertussis, while 5% of the cases are caused by Bordetella parapertussis. So, Bordetella pertussis is a smooth, we are showing a smooth, rough, capsulated and encapsulated forms. It elaborates an exotoxin and an endotoxin. The clinical disease is associated mostly with the encapsulated form. The bacteria survives only for a very short period outside the human body. The source of infection is usually man. A source of infection is a case of pertussis. A chronic carrier state does not exist. As you will be seeing in diphtheria, where a chronic carrier state is seen, and it is also the cause of lot of cases. Okay, so in this case of bacterial pertussis, you only infect where the reservoir is only a source and the reservoir is only man. Recently, they have also found that reservoirs in gorilla can also get infected with pertussis. So, until unless, but we will not rush you to conclusions until unless our authentic source is mentioned. We should not mention that gorilla is also the reservoir or the source for pertussis. The infective materials is nasopharyngeal and bronchial secretions, which are infective. The objects frequently contaminated by such research can also be infective, but formatic transmission is not documented in pertussis. The infected period is also called as the period of communicability. The whooping cough is the most infectious during the first stage, that is the catarrhal stage, where it can attach secondary attack rate as equivalent of measles or chickenpox. So 90% in an immunized household. So it is infectious mostly during the a week before, from exposure to after 3 weeks after the onset of the paroxysmal stage. Host factors which can affect the causation of disease. The disease is mostly seen in infants and preschool children. The highest incidence is found below the age of 5 years. The median age of infection is 20 to 30 months in developing countries, while in developed countries the age increases. So, like 50, median age will be 50 months in developed countries. There is no sex predilection from this disease. The immunity, if you see in this case as well, most of the 6 months, the in fact are protected in most of the disease. In this disease, the maternal antibodies in the first 6 months of life are not protected. Immunity is acquired by infection or immunization, and the secondary attack rates occur in persons with declining immunity. This is very important. So, with declining immunity, can get infected. That is why vaccination has to once again start in case of declining immunity. Antibody against Bordetella pertussis are effective as they prevent the binding of the C. That's why you have to maintain a minimum level of vaccination coverage so that the epidemics of pertussis do not happen. The environmental factors are which can cause this disease is usually mostly seen in winter, where there is overcrowding and easily spread of the bacteria. Socioeconomic conditions, low and poor housing conditions, poor sanitation are the factors which can lead to the spread of the disease. The risk of exposure is getting among people of the lower classes than to the well groups. Looking at the mode of transmission, so it's mostly transmitted droplet infection and direct contact. Fomitic transmission is not documented. Mostly children contract the disease when they are playing with their fellow colleagues. The incubation period of the disease is usually 7 to 14 days, but it can extend to 21 days in some cases. The signs and symptoms, if we go ask the symptoms, it is divided into two stages, a catarrhal stage and a paroxysmal stage. The catarrhal stage is characterized by cough, fever, rhinorrhea, which is clinically not distinguished from common cold, lasts for 1 to 2 weeks, and a paroxysmal stage is characterized by paroxysmal coughing and the small dog barks, which continues for 3 months. Small child will not whoop instead. This is an apnea. So there is this coughing is followed by vomiting. So that can the child can also choke. The characteristic of why it is called whooping cough is because of the whoops. That means inspiration followed by a massive expiration, bout of expiration. I would have showed you the video, but not be able to upload the video and convert it to the video and then upload. I will show you once you come back to the college. Complications of pertussis as pneumonia is the most common infection because as the cilia are damaged, so there is superadded bacterial infections, convulsions which can result because of anoxia, because of severe coughing. There can be anoxia, cyanosis. It can be easily treated with diazepam, malnutrition, hemorrhage, and hernia. Laboratory tests and how to diagnose it usually by culturing of the nasopharyngeal swabs on nutrient media, reported medium, or polymerase chain reaction, which can detect a minute level of minute antibodies, minute antigens, or direct fluorescent antibody, and serological methods like complement fixation test. The bacteria can be recovered from the person only during the first 3 weeks of illness. So, mind you, you all know that it will take 7 days for the antibodies to be formed. So, if you do a test and antibody test within the 7 days, you will be calling it as false negative, and this will be a misdiagnosis. So, you should all know, a good clinician, you should know which test to be used at what stage of the disease. The treatment of pertussis can be clearly divided into the supportive care and the important care which is done by antibiotics and oxygen. So antibiotics like erythromycin 12.5 milligram per kg per oral is given for four times a day for 10 days to make the child non-infective to others. Alternatively, we can give chloramphenicol 25 milligram per kg per oral 3 times a day if fever for 5 days to treat pneumonia. What Ramoxisol can be given in those people who not tolerate are sensitive to chloramphenicol. Oxygen, when apnea is there and to treat cyanosis, can give oxygen at a rate of 1.2 liter per minute or 0.5 liter per minute. Unwarranted to say that supportive care is the most important part of the care. Any procedure that triggers coughing should not be done. The child should not be given cough suppressant or antihistaminics. Paracetamol can be given for fever, and you should encourage breastfeeding. Prevention and control of the pertussis. The prevention and will be divided. Prevention will be by TPT, pentavalent or the vaccination. The erythromycin 12.5 milligram QID for 5 days for any household contacts, child household contacts with the patient, and control can be done easily by early detection and treatment of the cases and isolation of them. We have to find early detection and treatment of cases door to door such as that is called as active surveillance. Isolate them for more than the length of the incubation period. So if you have 14 days, you isolate them and treat them with the treatment which is in and treatment of the contacts should also be done. The DPT vaccination is untoward incidents and contraindications. I will be talking about DPT vaccination in DPT. So here I will be talking about only the untoward incidents and contraindications of the DPT vaccine. The DPT vaccine is supposed to cause some untoward incidents. Local reactions like injection, mild fever, irritability happen during after DPT vaccination. The child will usually get a fever. That's why we give paracetamol and cold sponging will tell the mother to apply to the child. But some rare vaccine reactions can also happen. They are persistent, inconsolable screaming, seizures, hyporesponsive episodes, anaphylactic reactions, and very rare encephalopathy. So if you have a child who has a history of all of this and epilepsy convulsions and epilepsy history, you should not give the child the DPT vaccine. Any febrile and you should not give the DPT vaccine to the child even during an febrile episode. If the child is having fever, you tell the mother to treat for fever first and then visit the immunization OPD after some days. Okay, so I think yeah, this was in very short about pertussis. You need to read more about from the following sources. A good thing will be to read from Microbiology Park and then to read Harrison about the diseases. You can also read references from OPIG High, which is a very good book at your level, MBBS level, for reading of these childhood diseases. Okay, thank you.